In every era of human history, people have asked the same fundamental questions. What is the purpose of life? How should one live? What truly matters? In the modern era, these questions have not disappeared. In fact, they have become more urgent. We live in a time of unprecedented technological advancement. Information is instant. Communication is constant. Opportunities appear endless, yet, paradoxically, many individuals feel more confused, anxious, and disconnected than ever before. This contradiction defines modern life. Despite comfort, many experience emptiness. Despite freedom, many feel trapped. Despite progress, many feel lost. To understand why, we must examine the philosophy of life as it exists today, how modern society shapes our values, our choices, and our understanding of meaning. 1. The modern condition, abundance without direction. For most of human history, survival was the primary concern. Food, shelter, safety, and stability dominated daily life. Meaning was often inherited through religion, tradition, and community. In contrast, modern individuals are surrounded by abundance. Choices are limitless. Paths are flexible. Identities are customizable. Yet this freedom comes with a cost. When direction is no longer imposed, it must be chosen, and many people are not prepared for that responsibility. The modern individual is expected to design their own life, values, beliefs, relationships, and purpose without a clear framework. This creates what philosophers describe as existential uncertainty. When everything is possible, commitment becomes difficult. When options never end, satisfaction declines. When comparison is constant, contentment becomes rare. Modern life offers comfort, but not clarity. 2. The illusion of success in the modern era. One of the defining features of modern philosophy is the redefinition of success. Today, success is often measured externally. Income status, productivity, recognition, online visibility. These metrics are easy to quantify, but they are poor indicators of a meaningful life. Many individuals spend decades chasing goals they did not consciously choose, goals inherited from culture, social media, or societal pressure. They pursue achievement without reflection, assuming fulfillment will arrive later. But fulfillment does not automatically follow success. History and psychology both demonstrate a clear truth. External achievement without internal alignment leads to dissatisfaction. A meaningful life requires coherence between one's actions and one's values. Without this alignment, progress feels hollow. Modern philosophy invites a critical question. Who defines success, society or the individual? 3. Identity in an age of comparison. In the modern era, identity is no longer shaped primarily by community. It is shaped by comparison. Social platforms continuously exposed individuals to curated versions of other people's lives. Success appears effortless. Happiness appears constant. Progress appears linear. This creates a distorted sense of reality. When individuals compare their internal struggles to others' external presentations, self-doubt becomes inevitable. Identity becomes fragile, dependent on validation and approval. Philosophically, this represents a shift from being to appearing. Instead of asking, "Who am I becoming?" people ask, "How do I look to others?" A life centered on appearance rather than substance leads to anxiety, insecurity, and disconnection from authentic values. The philosophy of life in the modern era demands a return to inner definition, choosing values that are not dependent on external applause. 4. The question of meaning in a secular world. For centuries, meaning was largely derived from religion and tradition. These systems provided clear narratives about purpose, morality, and the nature of existence. In the modern era, many individuals no longer rely on these structures. While this has expanded intellectual freedom, it has also removed shared meaning frameworks. As philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche warned, when traditional sources of meaning collapse, individuals must create meaning themselves or risk nihilism. Nihilism is not simply the belief that nothing matters. It is the experience of emptiness, when values feel arbitrary and purpose feels absent. The modern challenge is not the absence of meaning, but the responsibility of creating it. Meaning today is not discovered. It is constructed through values, commitments, and long-term responsibility. 5. Responsibility as the foundation of meaning. One of the most important philosophical insights of modern thought is this: meaning arises from responsibility. Responsibility to one's actions, responsibility to one's choices, responsibility to others. A life without responsibility may feel free in the short term, but it often leads to long-term dissatisfaction. Without responsibility, effort lacks direction and sacrifice lacks purpose. Philosopher Viktor Frankl, who survived extreme suffering, argued that meaning is found not in pleasure or power, but in taking responsibility for something beyond oneself. In the modern era, responsibility is often misunderstood as restriction. In reality, it is structure, and structure enables purpose. When individuals commit to meaningful responsibility, life gains coherence. 6. Time, mortality, and the modern distraction. Modern life is fast, loud, and constantly stimulating. Technology fills every moment with content, noise, and distraction. Yet philosophy reminds us of a fundamental truth: time is finite. The awareness of mortality has always been central to philosophical reflection. In earlier eras, death was visible and unavoidable. In modern society, it is often hidden, delayed, or ignored. As a result, many people live as if time is unlimited. They postpone meaningful action. They delay important conversations. They assume opportunities will always return. But time does not negotiate. A meaningful philosophy of life requires a conscious relationship with time, treating attention as valuable, choices as irreversible, and days as significant. The question is not how long one lives, but how intentionally. 7. Suffering, struggle, and growth. Modern culture often portrays suffering as something to eliminate entirely. Discomfort is framed as failure. Struggle is viewed as unnecessary. Philosophy offers a different perspective. Throughout history, thinkers have recognized suffering as an inevitable part of life and often a necessary condition for growth. This does not mean glorifying pain. It means recognizing that struggle develops character, clarity, and resilience. A life without challenge rarely produces depth. A life without resistance rarely produces strength. In the modern era, where convenience is abundant, individuals must often choose difficulty, discipline, effort, learning, and restraint in order to grow. Growth is not automatic. It is earned. 8. Freedom, choice, and the burden of decision. Modern individuals enjoy unprecedented freedom. However, freedom without wisdom becomes overwhelming. Every choice excludes alternatives. Every decision carries consequences. Without clear values, choice becomes paralysis. Existential philosophers emphasize that freedom requires responsibility. One cannot escape choice, but one can choose deliberately. A meaningful life does not require perfect decisions. It requires consistent alignment with chosen values. The goal is not certainty, but integrity. 9. Relationships and the philosophy of connection. Despite technological connectivity, many people experience profound loneliness. Modern relationships are often shallow, transactional, or conditional. Philosophically, human beings are relational creatures. Meaning is rarely found in isolation. A meaningful life includes honest communication, mutual responsibility, shared values, long-term commitment. Depth requires vulnerability. Connection requires presence. In the modern era, reclaiming depth in relationships is a philosophical acumen that resists speed, conveyance, and disposability. 10. A practical philosophy for modern life. A philosophy of life is not merely theoretical. It must guide daily action. A meaningful modern philosophy includes clarity of values, acceptance of responsibility, respect for time, willingness to endure discomfort, commitment to growth, contribution beyond the self. Such a life may not always be easy, but it will be coherent.